There you hear President Biden in Chicago on Wednesday touting his economic wins as a key part of his 2024 re-election campaign. But the polls show many voters do not seem to be buying what the president is selling. Despite his big pitch, most Americans say they're focused on the persistence of inflation. CPA and president of the Marks Group, Jon Marks, joins us now. Jon, I want to put up, for starters, a Fox News poll on the president's handling of the economy. This, according to June 23rd to 26th, 38% of Americans approve of the president's handling of the economy. And frankly, for him, those are pretty good numbers. The AP has a similar poll out that only has 34% approval. So basically 1 in 3 Americans only think the president's doing a good job on the economy. How do you think he's doing?
Well, exactly what you mentioned earlier on, John, when you first started this segment. Prices are higher, and inflation is really a big issue. And by the way, it's not just inflation, it's inflation and interest rates as well. When it comes to inflation, we're still running at 4 to 5%. Even Fed Chairman Powell said that there's no chance it's going to come down to their 2% target anytime soon. So we're all looking at paying a lot more. And John, you know, I have a lot of small business clients, mid-sized clients around the country. Across all industry, their core prices for their materials that they use to run their businesses, construction materials, food for retail, you know, for restaurants, retail materials, manufacturers, they're seeing double-digit to 30% increases over the past 2 years. So you've got consumers paying more. You have a lot of small businesses, mid-sized businesses, millions of them, also seeing significant increase in the cost that they're paying right now. And it's a very, very tough economy to navigate when costs are that high.
Yeah, costs are up, what, 15% since the president took office?
Yeah, it's not just the 15%, and that's in consumer goods, but I mean, geez, you buy like gypsum materials, you buy like components for machinery, you buy equipment, you know, for your business as well. If you're running a restaurant and you're looking at food costs, it's anywhere from 15 to 30%, and that's just in the past 2 years. So although we're hearing that inflation is plateauing or heading its way a little bit down, many businesses and many individuals are still grappling with a much higher price and cost, you know, structure. Individuals aren't getting wages that are keeping up with those costs, and I think that's why you're seeing a lot of them being very frustrated with the president's policies.
Well, talking about wages, one of the president's bragging points, he says, you know, 13 million jobs have been added since he came into office.
It drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. And I've mentioned this and, you know, I've tweeted about it as well. I mean, the numbers that he's showing is comparing to what the job levels were during COVID. It was COVID. It was a global pandemic. Nobody was working. Unemployment was at all-time highs. So all of the jobs that he's saying that he's replaced or that he's generated were just all the jobs coming back as the economy recovered from this global pandemic. So no, I don't buy much into what he says, the job numbers being recovered. Jobs were tight before President Biden was elected, and now we're back to where we were, where jobs are still tight as well.
And wages are not really keeping up with inflation.
They're not. And, you know, what's really also hurting is, I mean, wages are about a 4 to 5% increase, which is barely keeping up with inflation. But on top of that, there's home prices and there's interest costs. Right now, a typical mortgage, John, is like between 6 and 7% to buy a home. You know, that's like 3 times the amount it was just 2 years ago. And home buying is so important to so many consumers. A lot of people, they're not going to go out and buy homes. First of all, prices are elevated as they are, but they're not going to take a 3% or a 2% mortgage and refinance it at a 7% mortgage. I mean, people can't afford to do that. So now you're taking away what is, for many people, one of their major purchases that they make. And that's why we're seeing the real estate market have so many challenges right now.
The Fed paused its interest rate increases. A lot of people breathed a sigh of relief and said, okay, the worst is over. But is it?
Oh, well, so first of all, it is just a pause, and the Fed did say that they were likely going to be going back to increasing rates sometime in the next coming months. But when you look at that pause, right now, like the prime rate for businesses, the best rate that the best businesses can borrow is at 8.5%, John. I mean, it was, again, 3 times lower just 2 years ago. So now I've got clients, again, small businesses. They want to borrow money for working capital. They want to borrow money for equipment or for property. They're looking at paying, you know, interest rates of anywhere from, you know, 9, 10, 11%. And I have a number of businesses, a number of clients, John, that are just saying to me, like, we can't afford to do this right now. And when you don't have companies investing capital in their businesses in a capitalistic society, it really does have its impact on the economy.
Feels like a downturn could be coming.
Yeah, things are slowing, and pay
Yeah.
attention to the CEOs of those retailers because they're all saying that consumer spending is going to start showing that downturn
And
sometime pretty soon.
that's a big part of the economy,
Yeah,
too.
I'm sorry to bum you out, but that's what's going on right now.
Gene Marks, thanks for the analysis.
Thanks, John. Take care.